Coming up on the Q30 Newscast. All the info you need on Election Day in Hamden.
Students had to deal with a variety of issues while registering for classes, and see a feature on an award-winning Quinnipiac student.
And check out a student organization looking to make shopping sustainable.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast. Good evening and welcome back to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Evangeline Crossley.
And I'm Riley Farrell. We've got a lot of news for you tonight, so let's get right into it.
Municipal elections in Hamden were held on Tuesday. 4 candidates were on the ballot for mayor.
Q30's Andrew Allison has a sneak peek at the mayoral race.
Yesterday was Election Day, and Hamden held elections for a new mayor, town clerk, councilman, and Board of Education members.
Adam Sendroff, the Democratic candidate, declared victory last night, defeating Republican candidate Jonathan Katz, as well as Green Party candidate Patricia Veneer Saavedra and petitioning candidate Jamika Jeffries. Sendroff claimed a clean sweep for Democrats, including Hamden's 9th District, which has leaned Republican over the last 10 years. The most pressing issue for Hamden voters and candidates was addressing Hamden's high taxes and getting them out of financial trouble, and time will tell whether Sendroff is able to address their concerns.
Make sure to stay tuned for my full story on what the people of Hamden are saying. Reporting from Town Hall for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison.
Thanks, Andrew. Town officials have officially voted to move forward with the demolition of former Hamden Middle School buildings. Plans to renovate Michael J. Wallen Jr. High School into a community site were altered to address sinking foundations. The buildings have been decaying and covered in graffiti for almost 10 years now. Demolition was set to begin in August of this year, but had to be delayed due to contract issues. The demolition is not currently tied to any future construction plans, according to the town engineer.
Those little shooters that you can get at the package store are making Hamden a little more money. The Nickel per Nip program has earned Connecticut nearly $2.5 million in just 6 months. Over $45,000 of that money came back to Hamden. This program started back in 2021. It adds a 5 cent surcharge to the purchase of a 50 milliliter container of alcohol. That 5 cents goes to the municipality that it was purchased in. Those funds are then used for town initiatives like recycling centers and litter reduction.
Last Tuesday, a Quinnipiac professor of business analytics received the Academic Innovation and Leadership Post-Secondary Award. The Women of Innovation Awards were hosted by Connecticut Technology Council. The awards celebrate Connecticut's leading women in STEM. 12 winners were announced across 9 categories, with Jones being honored in academic innovation and leadership. Jones said, quote, "This recognition fuels my commitment to mentoring the next generation of innovators. I'm excited to continue lifting up women in STEM and empowering my students to lead with creativity, courage, and purpose," end quote.
Students at the School of Business are getting the opportunity to learn from real-world professionals. Tuesday, the school held an event called Trailblazers, Dean's Distinguished Speaker Series, featuring insights from visionary business leaders. The conversation focused on AI in healthcare.
But there's almost nothing that AI is not going to be able to do. So it's literally limitless. Our imaginations are really the only constraints around what we can do.
The next installment of the Trailblazers series is February 24th. Of course, registration was last week, and some students had to wait upwards of an hour to access self-service during the registration period. Q30's Sophia DeBona has the story.
Last week, students registered for their spring semester classes. Some students got what they want, but most were left disappointed.
It took me over an hour and a half from start to finish to get all of my classes that I needed, and I still feel like I don't have what I want.
I know that especially with the graduate electives, there have been a lot of issues about not having enough seats set aside in cross-listed undergraduate and graduate elective courses. So I know a lot of my peers had issues where they were kicked out of the electives they chose.
I got none of the classes I wanted, and my backups, the backups for my backups were full, so I just got none of the classes that I wanted.
Many of the complaints came from the same problem, self-service. The website was reportedly buggy on the mornings of registration due to so many students trying to schedule their classes.
It's kind of slow, and it's hard to navigate.
When I got on, just trying to do different things, it just took forever till it was just so slow, and it was very stressful.
I feel like we want it to be better. We're paying the money. We want to be able to register for classes that we want to take.
Many students believe that changes need to be made to either self-service or the registration process itself to ensure a much better outcome next semester.
They should separate it by major and know the certain classes you need and pre-put you in them.
So anything that is required for you to get your degree, you should be pre-registered in. You shouldn't have to fill out a closed course request for a course that you need to take in order to graduate. But also sort of planning things out. You know everybody's schedules. If somebody doesn't have an 8 a.m. class, they don't need to be registering before 7 a.m. I think the idea of waking up at 7:15 to do registration is kind of absurd.
Students have until January 26th to add and drop different classes to their schedules. Reporting from the Quad for Q30 News, I'm Sophia DeBona.
Thanks, Sophia. During Tuesday's Common Hour, the Pre-Med Ambassadors hosted the annual Medical Student Panel Watch Party. Students were able to hear from QU alumni currently enrolled in medical schools and learn more about the application process. Medical alumni gave some advice on becoming a standout applicant, shared insight on what medical school is like, and were able to encourage up-and-coming medical students as they continue on their pre-med journey.
Medical students are also learning the importance of collaborative work. An event called Better Together, exploring interprofessional healthcare, taught medical students the importance of teamwork in the field. They used interactive case studies to teach students about the responsibilities of various professions and to encourage communication across disciplines.
I don't know about you, Evangeline, but I've been quite chilly this week. I almost had to break out my winter coat.
Yeah, I'm already ready for spring. Melissa Sheehan is here in studio with how cold I'll be this weekend.
Thank you, Riley and Evangeline. Here's what the weather will look like for the next couple of days. Today was kind of chilly and partly cloudy with a high of 61 and a low of 44. Thursday will bring sunshine and crisp fall air with a high of 53 before dropping to a chilly 32. On Friday, expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 58 and a low of 55. Please stay tuned for my full day weather forecast, but for now, the Q30 Newscast is headed for a break.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Welcome back. Tuesday saw some big elections for many offices, including right here in Hamden, where a new mayor is set to take office.
Q30's Andrew Allison is back with the full story. Take it away, Andrew.
Voters in Hamden showed up to the polls yesterday and decided on Adam Sendroff, the Democratic candidate for mayor. Sendroff had 60% of the vote, followed by Jonathan Katz with 27%. The Democratic Party also won all town council seats and the town clerk's office, securing the clean sweep. Sendroff declared victory last night in a press conference, thanking his competitors and looking towards the future. During Election Day, I went to the Miller Library in Hamden, the polling location for District 1, to get voters' thoughts and opinions. To start, I asked residents to describe what qualities they're looking for in their new mayor.
I want you to be talking to the public, asking them what can you, that's a mayor.
Other than wanting a public-facing mayor, there seemed to be a common theme.
Fiscal responsibility, you know, the ability to run the town as a business and not be so much in debt. You know, it's one of the worst towns in the nation when it comes to our debt.
So,
who can manage the budget of a lot of debt the township has, and who can cut down the expenses and balance the budget, pay off the debt.
Now the biggest issue for voters in Hamden was property taxes and financial management by the town. Hamden residents are looking for new town leadership to lower property taxes and balance the town's budget as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely the taxes. Tax rate needs to come down, and we need to get our debt under control.
Well, as I understand it, there's a big pension problem, which makes our taxes some of the highest in Connecticut.
Many just seem disappointed in Hamden's current state and were looking for a change.
I mean, they have to cut down their expenses, okay? Cut down their You cannot keep on borrowing and raising a property tax. I'm stuck here, I have a job, otherwise I'll move out from here.
Adam Sendroff is now in charge of Hamden's future, and residents will be looking for him to address their concerns. Reporting in Hamden for Q30 News, I'm Andrew Allison.
Thank you, Andrew. November is Native American Heritage Month. In its honor, Quinnipiac's Albert Schweitzer Institute held an indigeneity teach-in on Tuesday. This is the 6th year for the event. It took place in the piazza, and throughout the day, students could drop in to learn about Indigenous culture, history, and community.
This Tuesday, the Indigenous Student Union and the Sociology Club hosted the event Linked by Beads in the Student Center. The event was in collaboration with Sunrise Healing Communities, a nonprofit focusing on empowering Indigenous young adults to foster healing through connectedness. Students were able to create their own beaded jewelry and learn about its significance in Indigenous cultures.
This weekend was Day of the Dead, and here at QU, students came together to celebrate. Sunday night in the piazza, there were activities to celebrate and honor those who have passed. Day of the Dead is a Mexican holiday which aims to make peace with death and remember loved ones who have passed. The government shutdown is well into its 5th week, plus the closely watched race for New York City's new mayor has come to a close. With those political headlines and more, here's Nathan Rojas.
Hello and good evening. I'm Nathan Rojas with the news in the political world. This week marks the 5th week of the government shutdown, making this the longest shutdown since the 2018-2019 shutdown. Despite this, efforts to reopen the government have been met with resistance from President Trump. Trump claims that he won't be extorted by Democrats, refusing to negotiate. However, the rest of the party seems to be more focused on reopening the government. With talks of potential compromises, currently Republicans only need 5 votes from the Democrats. Democrats are looking to negotiate with Republicans, wanting to sit down with Senate Majority Leader John Thune, House Speaker Mike Johnson, and Trump. Thune is optimistic that their Senate can reach a conclusion by the end of the week, but if no progress is made by the middle of the week, then he is doubtful anything will be resolved by then. Yesterday, the New York City mayoral election took place, one of the most highly anticipated mayoral elections this year. As of 9 p.m. last night, Democratic nominee Zohran Mamdani is officially the mayor of NYC, with 50% of the votes at 1,036,051 votes. The candidates consisted of Mamdani, former Governor Andrew M. Cuomo, and Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa. This year has seen the biggest voter turnout since 1993, with roughly 1.85 million votes having been cast. Taking a look back at the Trump administration, they will start formal meetings with Native American tribes across southwestern U.S. as it considers revoking a 20-year ban on oil and gas production in federal lands surrounding the Chaco Culture National Historical Park. This ban was first passed during the Biden administration after receiving pressure from Pueblo leaders. Amid President Trump's reconsideration of orders issued during the Biden administration, this ban could be rolled back. If this happens, it will have economic impacts on the surrounding tribes. That's all for politics. Back to Evangeline and Riley at the desk.
Thanks, Nathan. Now it's time to take our second break of the night, but stick around because when we come back, Melissa Sheehan will give us a full weather report.
Plus, the story of a medical student making a name for herself through advocacy. We'll be right back.
Here at Sports Pause, we like to have balance between having fun and working hard. Sometimes that competition we cover gets into our producing.
Tune in every Monday night at 9:30 at q30tv.com/watch for all the news, highlights, and more. This is Sports Pause.
No, I'm not gambling.
Thanks for sticking with us. If you're just tuning in, I'm Evangeline Crossley.
And I'm Riley Farrell.
We're looking at some rain this weekend, sure to have an impact on temperatures next week.
Let's hope it's an impact we'll enjoy. What's going on next week, Melissa?
Thanks, Riley and Evangeline. We're back with your full-day weather forecast. Saturday, keep the umbrella handy. There will be showers at times, a few breaks of sun possible, breezy, and mild at 65 degrees. Showers will be up late and will slip back to 45 degrees overnight. Sunday will be an even wetter day. There will be periods of rain, still relatively mild with a high near 61 degrees. Cooler, drier air will follow Sunday night, which will bring down the temperature to 41 degrees. Monday will be behind the system. We will turn cooler and brighter and partly cloudy. It will be breezy at times with a high of 47 degrees and a chilly 30-degree Monday night. Tuesday will be chilly and there will be sunshine, and it will be partly cloudy with a high of about 44, and the evening temperature will fall into the mid-30s. Moving on to an overview of the map of Connecticut. Starting up north in Torrington, it will be mostly cloudy with a cool high near 47 degrees and a low around 30 degrees. Moving into Hartford, expect plenty of sunshine with highs near 50 degrees, which will be a crisp but pleasant fall day. Out west in Danbury, partly sunny skies and a high of 51 degrees will drop to 30 degrees overnight. Along the coast, Sanford and New Haven will both be the warm spots, with highs around 53 degrees and lows in the mid-30s, and just a few passing clouds. Heading east, New London will see breezy conditions, with a high of near 50 degrees, a low around 30 degrees, while Norwich will be a touch warmer at 51 degrees with a low of 28 degrees. So overall, it will be a cool and nice fall day statewide. Plenty of sunshine inland and along the shoreline. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Melissa. A sophomore medical student from Quinnipiac recently received a statewide advocacy award.
Q30's Miranda Patorti sat down with Ellie O'Brien on what the recognition means to her.
Second-year medical student Ellie O'Brien graduated from the University of Colorado Boulder in 2023 with a degree in neuroscience, but also studying community leadership. This put her on the path to becoming the advocate she is today. With her advocacy work across many levels, O'Brien was awarded with the Medical Student Advocacy Award by the Connecticut State Medical Society.
I had been approached by my faculty advisor, Dr. Rebecca Zacconi, just knowing that you had to do both local, statewide, and national advocacy. And so kind of on all of those levels, she was just like, do you think this could be something that, we could write about and everything? So it was just very unexpected.
One of her pieces of national advocacy was a Congressional Leadership Conference on Capitol Hill last year.
Their main philosophy is to get the OBGYNs who are involved statewide in their organization to go to the Capitol and advocate nationally.
In addition, O'Brien's capstone focuses on patient advocacy, specifically with breast cancer, and works directly with labs from her alma mater.
I knew I just wanted to go back and work with them and do some of the cutting edge, like patient-reported outcomes research that they're doing, to try to help patients when they're navigating these really difficult decisions through their breast cancer care.
O'Brien said that what her mentor recently told her is how she's looking toward the future.
To be a good advocate, you have to be a good doctor. And I think that just focusing on, how to do both of those things really well will be key.
With her graduation currently set for 2028, O'Brien will continue her studies at the Quinnipiac Frank H. Netter MD School of Medicine, as well as continuing her advocacy work. Reporting from the site for Q30 News, Miranda Patorti.
Thanks, Miranda. Now, if you're like me, you woke up to quite the surprise on Sunday morning when all your clocks were off by an hour. Turns out daylight savings time isn't just disorienting, but can actually be dangerous. A recent study by Stanford Medicine shows that the biannual changing of the clocks can contribute to obesity and stroke rates.
Researchers compared the effects of living with the biannual clock shifts or sticking with either standard or daylight time. They estimated that with permanent standard time, around 300,000 strokes were prevented per year, and there were 2.6 million fewer people with obesity. The main cause of these health risks isn't just seeing less sunlight, it's a disruption to our body's natural circadian rhythm. Without proper sleep, the human body is much more prone to severe health risks like obesity, strokes, and heart disease. Kicking off the holiday season right, the Kind Cats organization hosted a card-making event during Tuesday's Common Hour. Students gathered in the CCE building to make holiday cards in support of the Comfort and Joy program. All cards made during this event were delivered to veterans and chronically ill adults across the state, the perfect way to spread some joy to those who need it most. From Harvard Medical School to more on daylight savings time, Q30's Ariel Stewart is here with your national news. What do you have for us, Ariel?
Thanks, guys. I'm here with this week's national news. Starting in the north, 2 Michigan men, both 20 years old, have been federally charged in connection with an alleged terror plot planned for Halloween weekend at LGBTQ+ bars in the Detroit area. Mohammed Ali and Majid Mahmoud are accused of acquiring firearms and ammunition to be used for a federal crime of terrorism influenced by the terrorist group ISIS. They are accused of purchasing an AR-15 style rifle, more than 1,600 rounds of ammunition, a shotgun, and other firearm accessories. Also involved was an unidentified juvenile who has not been charged. A spokesperson from the U.S. Attorney's Office said that both suspects, if convicted, could face up to 15 years in federal prison and a $250,000 fine. Moving to Massachusetts, just before 3 a.m. on Saturday, an explosion inside the Harvard University Medical School's Goldenson building triggered a fire alarm. Police dispatched to the scene and observed 2 masked individuals fleeing the 4th floor of the building that accommodates the school's neurology labs and office. The Boston Fire Department's arson unit determined the explosion appeared to be intentional. However, no one was injured and no structural damage or additional devices were found. The Harvard University Police Department is investigating the blast, along with local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies. Lastly, to your clocks, on November 2nd at 2 a.m., clocks shifted back by 1 hour. Public support for the biannual clock shift of daylight saving time in the United States has hit a historic low, with only about 40% of Americans in favor of observing it, while over 50% support scrapping it entirely. 10 states have passed legislation to adopt year-round DST, but congressional approval is needed to begin observing that change. Arizona and Hawaii are currently the only 2 states that observe year-round standard time. Americans are split on the issue, but support for scrapping daylight savings time is growing. That's all the time I have for you guys today. Back to Evangeline and Riley at the desk.
Thank you, Ariel. 2 students are bringing the best parts of a thrift shop right here to campus. Coming up, we'll bring you behind the scenes of the Bobcat Exchange.
Plus, a fun twist on getting rid of leftover pumpkins from Halloween. The Q30 Newscast will be right back.
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady, that's like a crossover with a missed layup.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And
That team is amazing. How do you not put Fairfield Women's College?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
Guys! We have to make a commercial for #that right now. What do?
How long do we have? We only had 2 months to do this.
We could explain that it's a pop culture news show that covers everything from movies, music, and video games.
Yeah, and we can also talk about how there's pre-recorded segments that vary from reviews to in-depth discussions.
We should also mention that it broadcasts live every Monday at 7 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
I think that covers everything. Did you guys get that down?
Welcome back. Now, I've got to be honest, Evangeline, I haven't been to many sports games here at Quinnipiac, so I have no idea what Zach is going to talk about.
Riley, I've been here for 3 years and I haven't been to many at all either. Luckily, Zach Stokinger is here with a much-needed Quinnipiac sports update.
Thanks, Riley and Evangeline. With fall sports wrapping up, there's a lot to talk about. The Quinnipiac women's cross-country team took a trip out to West Montgomery, New York, to take part in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference Cross-Country Championships. The Bobcats secured their 4th straight team MAC championship on Saturday. Fairfield's Hannah Snad secured 1st overall, while 4 out of the 5 best Bobcats finished in the top 10. The Bobcats were led by Sierra Gray, who stood on the final step of the podium in 3rd, with Rachel St. Germain placing 4th, Maddie O'Neill placed 7th, with Zoe Merriman placing 9th, and Ashley Carrillo placing 13th, rounding out the 5 best Bobcats. The women's cross-country team will now shift their focus to the NCAA Northeast Regionals in Hopkinton, New Hampshire on November 14th. Shifting to the court, the Quinnipiac volleyball team has clinched a spot in the MAC playoffs. The Bobcats are on a 9-game winning streak in MAC play, including wins over championship hopefields Fairfield and Siena. A standout for the Bobcats in the stretch has been Turkish setter Damla Ganesh. Ganesh has been on fire, picking up 2 Max Setter of the Week awards in this stretch. She also secured her 4,000th career assist this past weekend against Manhattan. With the postseason right around the corner, Quinnipiac, Fairfield, and Niagara have clinched postseason spots. The Bobcats will take on the St. Peter's Peacocks in Hamden on Friday. Moving from Burt Con to the field, the women's soccer team is heading back to the playoffs as the number 2 seed. The Bobcats went unbeaten in conference play, going 8-0-4. The Bobcats secured the 2nd spot in the MAC playoffs and enjoyed the first-round bye. Prior to the start of the postseason, 6 Bobcats were named to the All-MAC teams. Senior forward Morgan Cupo and defenseman Madison Alves were named to the first team. First-year Corey Anderson was named to the second team, while sophomores Clara Bankston and Olivia Jarvis and junior Bianca D'Onofrio were named to the third team. The number 3 Canisius are coming off a 1-0 victory over the number 6 Marist Red Foxes in Western New York. The Bobcats and the Golden Griffins will kick off on Thursday at 1 p.m. Well, guys, that's all the time I have. Back to you at the desk.
Thank you, Zach. Now, have you got some old clothes that you want to get rid of? There's 2 students on campus that are trying to provide just the place.
Q30's Amari Smith was able to explore this opportunity further. Let's see what he has to say.
With the cold season in full bloom, you can find warm clothes in style right here on campus. And best of all, it's for a good cause.
So we just really saw an opportunity at the school for people to donate clothes and then reuse them. That's why it's called the exchange. You know, not just one person can utilize a piece of clothing. Once you're done with it, it can be used by another person and loved by another person.
Gabby and Adriana are the founders of the Bobcat Exchange, a clothing business that encourages donations and reusability.
The Bobcat Exchange started with us just thrifting, and you know, when you go thrifting and it's pay by pound, you don't really try anything on, and we're like, wow, we have all these clothes, don't know what to do with them, and they're great, they're just not our sizes. We wish people would want to utilize them, so we decided we should start selling them, but maybe if we could do it in a way that would benefit everyone else as well.
Their inspiration comes from resource conservation as well as building a like-minded community.
I think that it can really bring us together. I think that being able to share loved pieces with other people is going to benefit us in the way of, you know, making friends, sparking conversations.
The business began just this year, but is already reaching the masses.
I have donated like some clothes there, and I just like what they do. You know, they're trying to end the fast fashion stuff. They're kind of just trying to sell like fly clothes for cheap, like helping people afford.
The Bobcat Exchange shows the importance of recycling clothing and that you can be stylish while doing it.
It's really great. I love doing it. We give back to the community. All the clothes that aren't bought at the end of the month, we bring to the United Way of Greater New Haven. I just love like that feeling where you just feel like, wow, no one else could have this.
You can find the business tabling tomorrow next to the Starbucks. Reporting from the Student Center for Q30 News, I'm Amari Smith.
Thank you, Amari. Now, I'm a big fan of the Smashing Pumpkins, both the band and this. These are zoo animals at the Rosamond Guilford Zoo in Syracuse, New York, smashing some leftover pumpkins.
And what better way to officially transition us from spooky season to the holiday season? Visitors at the zoo were given some extra entertainment this week as they got to watch the animals frolic around and smash the pumpkins in whatever way they saw fit. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes.
Be sure to keep up with us on social media at Q30 News and online at Q30TV.com. For Riley Farrell, I'm Evangeline Crossley. Have a great night, Bobcats.